Sahana Vavatu. Saha, together, now, us, Avatu, be protected. Why in ancient times, they would be studying in jungle, not in a protected environment like this. In jungle, animals can attack them through the rishis in the Gurukula. Diseases can come, like what is prevalent now, or any other thing can happen. Any natural calamity can happen. Therefore, when we are starting this study, we pray that we should not fall sick. We should not be suffering because of any other mental ailments. We should be healthy enough and safe enough to complete the study which we are starting. That is why the prayer, Sahanau Avatu. Sahanau Bhunaktu. Bhunaktu comes from the dhatu word bhunja, means to enjoy, to consume. So let us enjoy this. Let us not make it a sad affair, Ayyo Upanishad. As if already the things are not enough in life, this is a new thing now. No, take it with great spirit, enthusiasm, and let's enjoy this study. Joy of learning. Let's bring back the joy of learning into education. Therefore, Bhunaktu, let us enjoy this education. The teacher should enjoy. When will teacher enjoy? When students are not sleeping, when they're not stretching, when they're not falling this way and that way, when they're attentive, when they're also trying to understand, they're asking the meaningful questions, they're clarifying their doubts, good doubts. Then teacher becomes happy. He enjoys teaching. And when does the student start enjoying? When he understands the subject. If you don't understand, you will not enjoy anything. You understand it, you enjoy. So that is how you put a Kannada person in front of a Telugu movie or a Tamil movie, what will he enjoy? So he understands, so you enjoy. So try to understand what is being told so that you can also enjoy the education. I very much enjoy. You also enjoy this. Sahaviryam karvavahi. No, nothing, no pain, no gain. Unless we put efforts. Viryam means a determination, self-restraint, control. All this is viryam. And also the courage to go through this. Viryam karvavahi. Let us work hard. Let us not be complacent. Let us put our 100% to learn it. And how do we do that? Your mind has to be very concentrated. If mind goes this way, that way, because distracted by the senses, other thoughts, other emotions, then you are not going to give your 100%. So viryam karvavahi will not happen. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, time is concentration. The better concentration, the lesser time you require to do things. So concentration is the key. So therefore, when we have concentration, why? Because we are not chatting too much, not eating more than what we require, not sleeping unnecessarily, not gossiping around, but focusing on our subject, our studies, keeping ourselves extremely concentrated, then we will be able to grasp this knowledge. Therefore, viryam karvavahi. And tejasvi, brightened. Our intellect should become brightened. Like when you switch on the light, the knowledge of all the objects that exist in the house becomes yours. Where is the table? Where is the chair? Where is the book? Where is the water? You just come to know naturally, simultaneously, you come to know the moment you switch on the light. You don't come to know one by one. The moment you switch on the light, everything appears to you simultaneously. That is the idea of Tejasvi. Everything, all knowledge gets known to you simultaneously. Mundaka Upanishad, Kasminnu Bhagavo Vijñate, Sarvamidam Vijñatam Bhavati. Shaunaka asks Angirasa, what should I know? Knowing which everything is known. That is where the first time he says, Dve Vidye Veditavye, learn two kinds of education. Paracha iva paracha, one para and one apara. Apara is all these things, and para is that, yaya, tad aksharam adhigamyate. It takes us to the indestructible self. That is para. So knowing that everything is known, like when you switch on the light, everything is known simultaneously. You can see everything together. So let us intellect become that way that everything is known to us together. I don't have to learn one by one and forget thereafter. Everything is known to me. And how it is known to me? Our now means to us, adhitama astu. Adhitama means it should be under our control. Adhitama astu means today I have learned, tomorrow I have forgotten whatever I learned. Then it is not in our control. It's still in our control. How? Because whatever we learn, we shouldn't forget. We should remember it. How will you remember it? After Shravanam, you have to do Mananam. That is why afternoon study circles. And Nididhyasanam, evening Swadhyaya. So try to meditate on this practice. Then only it will be adhitamastu. It will remain under ourselves, under our control. Otherwise, it will go out. And very, very important. I tell our students, this is very important. Mavid Vishavahe. Let us not be a cause of trouble to each other. How can I be trouble to you? I don't care whether you will understand or not, I go on. Like most teachers do. I have to finish my syllabus. Whether you understand, don't understand, none of my concern. My time is ticking, I have to finish. Especially before exams, you should see. All the piled up syllabus is covered within no time. Whether students are awake, alive, doesn't matter. Just keep repeating and finishing. So your teacher is a trouble to the students. Or when a student asks a question, sir, time waste ಮಾಡಬಾರದು. Not encouraging questioning, not encouraging discussion, not encouraging curiosity, investigation, then that teacher is not good teacher. Some are dull students, some are intelligent. So even encouraging the dull students. Otherwise, mostly teachers cater to the intelligent ones, that 10% of the class. The remaining 90% are, what is happening, we don't know. Anyway, we are cursed to sit, we'll sit. So, ma vidvishavahe. Teacher should be well prepared, well versed. More importantly, teacher should be knowledgeable, not a borrowed knowledge. From his experience, he should speak. Borrowed knowledge won't last. Similarly, the student should not be a trouble to the teacher. Why? He should do his projects, assignments, classroom work, homework, all this sincerely. He should not eat too much, as we say, 5 lakshanas of Vidyarthi Panchalakshanam. Swalpahari is one. 5 lakshanams are there, you know. Kaka cheshta, bako dhyanam, shwana nidra tathaivacha. Swalpa ahari gruhatyagi Vidyarthi Panchalakshanam. Kaka cheshta. The perseverance of a crow. How crow chases a kite which has a mouse in its beak. These crows will chase till that kite drops the mouse and goes. These crows won't leave. Like that, the students' perseverance to know things should chase the teacher everywhere except bathroom and toilets. Tell me, sir, otherwise I won't leave you. If I can't sleep peacefully, I won't let you sleep peacefully. That should be a student's pursuit of knowledge. Kaka cheshta. Like the crows, they should pursue. Bako dhyanam, you know, baka pakshi. It stands on one leg, the crane. You see in a pond or lake somewhere in the villages, you will see it stands on one leg without moving an inch. For hours it stands like a statue. The moment a fish passes or a crab passes or a frog passes, picks it up. Doesn't miss that. That kind of a one-pointed mind, steady concentration is the requirement of a student when he wants to learn. Looking this side, that side. Most of the students are present in the bodies in the classroom. Minds are somewhere in the playground, in yesterday, in tomorrow. But today and now the mind is not there. That is not Bako Dhyanam. So Bako Dhyanam, Shwana Nidra, sleeping like a dog. It means quick to sleep and quick to wake up. See a dog, it will be deep sleep, it will be snoring. Next moment a sound comes, wide awake. And next moment it gets a little rest, deep asleep. How does the dog do? It's a great inspiration. But Shwana Nidra, students should be like that. Quick to sleep, quick to wake up. That's why I asked, how many slept at 9, how many slept at 9:30, how many at 10, how many beyond? Or how many started sleeping at 3 o'clock only? Shwana Nidra, quick to sleep. This is the time to sleep, sleep. Time to wake up, wake up. Without any drag. First teachers have to sing Suprabhatam to students, then students will sing Suprabhatam to Swami. That is not the way to wake up. Wake up when you have to wake up. Shwana Nidra. Taicha. Swalpahari, eat less. Eat only as much as is required. Overeating will lead to sleep, lethargy. All the oxygen that has to go to brain will go to the stomach. So you all are flat, Shavasana. That is not the way. And Swalpahari Gruhatyagi, he has to leave his home. And live where if he leaves his home? Guru Grahavasa. Must go and stay with a guru in the Gurukula. That is why this Gurukula system. So Gruhatyagi, because parents cannot, their moha will not allow them to take the right decision for their children. A guru will take the right decision because he's nirmoha, nirahankara he is. Avrujano, akamahato is the definition of guru. Avrujana, without any sin. Akamahata, without any desires. His only desire is you should do well. Beyond that, he doesn't desire. Therefore, a guru only is the right person for students to put them in a gurukula. So these 5 things, kakacheshta, bakodhyanam, shwana nidra, swalpahari, gruhatyagi. This is Vidyarthi's Lakshana. Somebody wants to be a good Vidyarthi and not cause Vishada to the teacher. These 5 things have to be practiced by that Vidyarthi. Quick to get up, quick to sleep, no lazing around, no wasting time. Eat appropriately, not more, not less. And don't stay at the comforts of your home. Because your parents are too attached, like Dhritarashtra's, they can't take right decisions for you. A guru has to take the right decision. Krishna will take the right decision. So that was the idea of Gurukula. Why I am saying all these things? Because this is also should be a part of your knowledge now as Paravidya aspirants. Katha Upanishad is a part of Krishna Yajurveda. There are 4 Vedas, you know. Rigaveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvana Veda. Out of it, Yajurveda is one of the very elaborate Vedas, very beautiful Veda. Rigveda is largely consisting of Vedic mantras used for prayers and rituals. But Yajurveda, I will talk about Vedas and Upanishads as we go by. Let us start the class. So Kathopanishad is a part of the Krishna Yajurveda. Yajurveda has 2 parts, Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. So it is a part of the Krishna Yajurveda. And Yajurveda was taught by Vedavyasa, who composed all the Vedas, who classified them, and he taught it to Vaishampayana. And Vaishampayana further taught to his disciples, and that's how various branches have come about. We'll learn about these details as we go by. And this comes as a part of the Kataka part of the Yajurveda. Therefore, it is called Kathopanishad. And it is believed that the Muni that he wrote this Kathopanishad was Katha Muni. Due to him, Kataka is this Khanda in the Yajurveda, and from there this Upanishad comes. What is an Upanishad? It is the highest philosophy of the Vedas. So Vedas have many things in them. The philosophical part of the Vedas is Upanishad. There is also the ritualistic part of the Vedas, which is called Karma Kanda, and Upanishads are called the Jnana Kanda. These are not ritual part, these are the spiritual part of the Vedas. One is to know how to do, and this one is to know why to do. So the why part of the Vedas are this. What, how, where, when, all that is the Karma Kanda of the Vedas. Why it should be done is the Jnana Kanda and Kathopanishad. So out of 10 Upanishads, Kathopanishad is 3rd in the sequence after Ishavasya Upanishad and Kenopanishad. But we have taken this first because I love it very much. Second thing, it will really set our thinking right. With this right thinking, if you pick up other Upanishads, we will enjoy them too very, very much. So I will give you a brief today, an overview of the entire Upanishad. We will go shloka by shloka from tomorrow. So in the very first chapter, it has got 2 chapters and each chapter has 3 vallis, means total of 6 sections. So 2 chapters, 2 adhyayas and 6 vallis, 3 in each adhyaya. Around 119 verses are there in total across the 6 chapters of Kathopanishad. The storyline, all Upanishads have a very beautiful question-answer methodology of teaching. Today, scientific people say, educationists say, the best way to teach and understand subject is encourage question answers, encourage role plays, encourage case studies, discussions, debates. Don't just do one-way teaching. Kathopanishad is all about discussion, debate, arguments with the teacher. And there are characters in this story. So we always knew the methodology of teaching in our system of education, Gurukula. Unfortunately, somebody else is coming from outside and telling us this is what you should do. First they told us you should not do this. We stopped doing. Now they're coming and telling us, you know what, you should do this. And we think, thank you for enlightening us. Our foolishness. So in the first chapter, there is a sage by name Vajashrava. And he's also called Uddalaki Aruni, because he's from the lineage of Uddalaka and Aruni. So like we have many names. Your name of father, forefathers, the village, the district, panchayat, everything like that. So Vajashravas is the father of Nachiketa. Nachiketa is a young boy of this father Rajasrava, and he is observing his father do something. What? He is performing a ritual called Vishwajit Yaga. In Vishwajit Yaga, the idea is you have to give away everything that you have. For what? So that you will attain heaven. The concept of heaven was very strong in the ancient times. Even today, we say, somebody dies, we say, he is a Swargiya. We don't say Narkiya. Even though he deserves to go to Narka, we always say Swargiya. Because idea that after death we go to Swarga and enjoy whatever we enjoy there. Nobody knows, nobody comes and tells us. But our Upanishads and Vedas have this idea that there is a world that exists beyond this, which is called Swarga. We will discuss all these concepts later. So Vajashrava wanted to go to a Swarga after his death, where he will enjoy for a very long time. And for that he is performing a ritual, because he has been told, if you do this ritual, Swarga guaranteed for you. And what is the ritual? You have to give away everything that you own. So what did he do? He performed the ritual, called all the other Brahmins and guests, and started giving away what? Old cows, useless cows. Because in those days, cattle was the wealth. No stocks, bonds, shares, properties, cattle. So he has to give cattle away. And what kind of cows is giving? Very old. Those cannot yield milk, cannot even eat grass or drink water. So what about the good cows? Did he not have good cows? He had one. He transferred all the property to his wife, son, and everybody, and kept only the bad property in his name, which he wanted to donate and say, I've given away everything that I ever owned. Shraddhaya deyam, ashraddhaya adeyam, says Taittiriya Upanishad. Give with sincerity. If you don't have sincerity, better not give. But he's insincere fellow, this Vajashrava. For namesake, he's performing this ritual. You think he will attain heaven? Obviously not. You go outside the mandir and you're doing dana. One big Sethji is doing dana. Everybody's giving away 500 rupees notes. All are fake notes. Is it going to be of any use to the beggars? That is what he was doing. Giving away cows which are useless. I have to feed them unnecessary, now I'll give it to them. And poor these Brahmins who have come to receive, being very polite and well-mannered, they're not even able to talk back. Sir, what are you giving this? But this fellow, Nachiketa, is very observant. He watched his father and questioned him. What are you doing, father? You're giving away old cows, useless cows. This is not the way dana should be done. Father ignored him. Second time again, father, listen to me. Like children keep pestering till the parents pay attention. Father, you're doing this is not right. Third time, father, you're doing that. Father got irritated. Like how our parents get irritated and what they say. Hogi Sayappa. Go die. Go to hell. So father also said, I give you to God of death. Go. Means basically go die. Because you're bothering me too much. And then this fellow gives a small discourse to father about why he is wrong. Thousands have lived before him. Thousands will live after. He'll die like a corn, like a field of corn, which is there today, tomorrow it will be harvested. Like that, your life will be harvested. Don't do things like this. He tells his father and goes away to Yama. And there waits for 3 days in front of Yama's house because Yama is busy. So no time, very superworked, overworked. So office people of Yama say, what do you want? He says, I have come to meet Yama. Oh, Yama is on a tour, he's very busy. You have to wait. I will wait. Do you want any food, water, coffee, tea? No, nothing. I just want to wait and see Yama. Because your mind is so occupied by that thought. When you are very happy, you can't eat. When you are too sad, you can't eat. So he is like that. He is determined to meet Yama. I can't eat, enjoy anything before meeting Yama. So after 3 days, this Yama finishes whatever Bangalore, Karnataka tour, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, and comes back. Says, what happened? What is the pending case? He says, sir, all that later, one fellow is waiting there. Young boy. From 3 days he's been waiting. Looks like he's a good Brahmin because he's wearing the sacred thread and all that. And he doesn't tell us why he has come. We asked him to have water, food, tea. Nothing he wants. He was just waiting for you. Oh, Yama feels, is he a Brahmin? Oh, yes, he's a Brahmin. Oh, Brahmins, we should not make them wait like this. But Brahmins are important guests, VIPs in the old times because they were those who kept up the traditions, spiritual traditions. And we used to say, Acharya Devo Bhava, because they never used to charge for teaching anything. Therefore, they were equivalent to gods. Because gods don't charge for oxygen, water, earth, air, nothing they charge. They give us free. The sunlight is free, water is free, air is free. Government charges, that is a different story. but they don't charge. Likewise, gurus did not charge. So Brahmins did not charge people to give education. So Brahmins were considered equal to God. Even Vaidyo Narayana Haris, we say, because doctors were considered equal to God because they never charged for their services. So Brahmin boy has come. I must not make him wait. So first Yama, even though he's the Lord of Death, he carries some water. The first thing is the Neer Kudtira. First thing we ask even today. That's our tradition because the person might be thirsty, come a long distance walking. So to put him to rest, we give water. So Yama carried some water, gave it to this Brahmin boy and said, you have been waiting for 3 days. I'm very sorry. I was very busy. But against that, I'll give you 3 boons. Ask. And this boy is very smart. First boon he asks is, when I go back to my father should be happy with me, not angry like last time. It means what? He's already taken for granted that he'll go back to his father because he's dead now. The boy is dead. So he asks 2 boons in one. When I go back to my father, it means I'm not going to stay here with you, Emma. You cannot control me. You have to let go of me. And when I go back home, my father should be happy with me. Again, he should not curse me, go back to Yama. And he should be peaceful. All right, granted. Yama, 2 boons in one, he granted. Second thing, my father and all others want to attain this heaven, but they are doing it all wrong. Teach me the right way to perform a yajna so that they can go to heaven. He said, all right, I'll grant you that. He says, and Nachiketa repeats it verbatim. That time there were no notebooks and gadgets to record or write. You have to remember. That's why Vedas were called Shruti. You have to hear them and repeat them. So when Yama taught this Agni, this Yajna, Nachiketa repeated it verbatim. Yama became so pleased. You're such an intelligent boy. Grace marks. What is the grace marks? This Agni will be known by your name. Nachiketa Agni it will be called. And anybody who performs this Agni thrice is called a Tri Nachiketa, and such a person will attain the heaven that you have been asking for. All right, second boon done, he's very happy. Third boon you ask now. He says, I have known that there is a doubt about whether it exists or does not exist. Asatoma Sadgamaya, which is Sat, which is Asat. I have a doubt. I believe a lot of people have these doubts. Whether finally something exists or not. Do we exist after death? How do we exist? I've heard about that, but I don't know whether it is true or not, and everybody is confused about it. Nobody tells me. Can you teach me? And he says, why do you want to know? You are a young boy. It is like you are kicking on my stomach. If I tell you the truth of Brahma Vidya, then you will not be caught in my Yamapasha. You escape me only. So you are basically trying to tell me how to escape you. Then Yama has no job because everybody who becomes Brahmagyani gets away from the Yama's grip. So he says, no, why do you want to know? You play with the toys. I'll give you gold. I'll give you wealth. I'll give you a lot of lands. I'll give you Potran Vinishwa. Ask me son, grandsons. Or ask me for gold, elephants, horses, cattle. As long as you want to live, you ask me, I'll allow you to live that long. Even if something is not there on earth, which are the pleasures of heaven, which only is to be attained after death, even those I will come and bring and give it to you. And if I missed out something and you have something, make a list, tell me, I will grant you all those. But don't ask me about this truth. And the Nachiketa is no less. He says, I have observed. See, he's an observant fellow. He observed his father doing wrong, questioned him. Came here, now he's observed Yama's logic and said, I have observed. I have my own doubts about all that you are saying. Because I've observed a lot of people who had this, they also ultimately went and died only. Nobody escaped you. They all had gold, wealth, women, wine, whatever pleasures of the world and beyond. Yet at the end, everybody met the same end. That was not different. Somebody would have enjoyed for 100 years, somebody for 40 years, somebody for 400 years. At the end, everybody came to the same spot, 6 feet under the earth. I don't want to be that. Therefore, keep all this to yourself. Thank you for all these offers. Tavaivaha tavanutya gita. Keep it. But tell me the truth. That's all I want to know. Let's not waste too much time. Please tell me. Already 3 days over waiting for you. Yama becomes very impressed with this Nachiketa. He says, look at this boy. I tempted with him iPhone 11. I tempted him with bikes and cars. I tempted with him with holidays and foreign tours. This boy is not interested in anything. He wants to know the truth. So he says he feels very happy. I have found somebody who really wants to know the truth, because most of the people when I met, when does Yama meet them? At the time of death. They only beg Yama, please save me, allow me to live another 10 years, 1 year, 5 years, something. They negotiate with Yama. But here is boy, he doesn't care. He says, tell me the truth. So that is Nachiketa. What is this truth? That is the Kathopanishad. And over the next 5 chapters, he explains how to attain this truth, what is the nature of the truth, and what is the discrimination that you must use to attain the truth, and what happens to you. So such a person becomes happy always, peaceful always. And how does it happen? All that is in the next 5. Chapter 1 is, he says, Om. Om is our... So you can repeat if you want. Om Ushanah vai Vajashravasah Sarvavedasam dadau Tasyah Nachiketa nama putra asa. In the line of Vajashrava, Uddalaka, Angirasa Uddalaka, Uddalaka Aruni, the father who is there, he is performing a yajnam. And as part of the yajnam, Sarva Vedasam Dadau. He has to give away everything that he possesses. And so, to such a person, there was a boy, a son by name Nachiketa. Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. So this is a once upon a time story. Ushan Havai. So once upon a time, this is what was happening. This much you understand. Now second shloka, which says, Tam Hakumaram Santam Dakshinasu Niyamanasu Shraddha Vivesha So Amanyata. All these dakshina which were being given away, just now we discussed. This boy, Kumaram, it means he was not a Yuvaka. He was a Kumara. He was still a teenager or less. Pre-teens. Therefore, he's a Kumara. And what he is doing, he's watching the dakshinas being given away to all the people who are taking away Niyamanas, who they're taking away the dakshina which has been given by the father. And what is he watching? With Shraddha. He has lot of Shraddha in him. He wants things to be done as it is to be done. So he's overcome by Shraddha. Avivesha, overcome by Shraddha, he saw Sa Amanyata. He went and spoke to his father. So when he watched his father giving away the donations and people taking them, he observed and he was overcome with this feeling of Shraddha. It's not right. And because of that, he came and spoke to his father. What did he speak? He told the father, what kind of donations you are making, observe. Pito daka jagdhatrina dugdhadoha nirindriyaha ananda namate lokaha tan sa gacchati tadadat. Pito daka, those who have finished drinking all the water. It means they can't drink water anymore. Old. Jagat-trina, all the grass they have finished eating. They can't digest any more grass. Dugdha doha, all the milk has been milked out of them. No more milk is left. Nirindriya, all their indriyas, eyes, ears, legs, hands, nothing is proper. Nirindriya, become weak. Such kind of cows he is donating to the Brahmins who have come to attend the yajnam. This is what he told his father. Straightforward. He didn't sugarcoat it. He straight away put the truth as it is. Call X and X. You are giving away poor old cows which can't eat, which can't give milk, which can't even walk. You are giving away. If you do this, what happens? He also tells his father. Look at the audacity of this little boy. Tells his father, Ananda namate loka. Ananda. Not happy. That loka which is called not happy. Tansa gacchati tadata. They go who give these kinds of donations. You make such donations, you will go to unhappy world, because so to say, you are performing this yajna to go to a happy heaven. But this kind of donations will lead you to a unhappy, means hell. He didn't say hell, but then he said unhappy loka. So it's opposite of happy, therefore you will go to hell. The fourth one now. Sahovacha pitaram tata kasmai mam dasyasiti dvitiyam tritiyam tam hovacha mrityuveva tva dadamiti. So he told his father, Father, you are supposed to give away everything that you own. You own me, I am your son. So he went to Father Pitaram and Sahovacha told him, Tata, therefore, Kasmai mam dasyasiti. Whom are you going to give me to? Because you are supposed to donate everything that is yours and that is dear to you. Whom are you going to give me to? Dvitiyam, Tritiyam hovacha. Second time he asked, third time he asked. Father was listening, but he ignored. He was busy getting rid of his old cows. So he heard him talk, but he ignored first time, second time, third time also he heard, and then he got angry and said what? Mrityave tva dadamiti. I shall give you to death. Means go and die. So our fellow should have left. If another child was there, would have got angry and left in a huff. But he thought, why did my father speak like this? He's not understanding what he's doing. He's still concerned about his father's welfare. So in 5th shloka, he thinks to himself, Bahuna memi prathamo, Bahuna memi madhyamaha, Kim fidyamasya kartavyam, Yanmayadya karishyati. He's thinking to himself, Bahuna memi pratamo. I am the best amongst many people. I'm very intelligent and things like that. Bahuna memi madhyama. I am a mediocre amongst others. I'm not a good singer, not a good sportsman, let us say. I'm not the best in everything. Kim svid, what way asya kartavyam, what this person, that this act of giving me to Yama, how is it going to help Yama? Yan maya adya karishyati. If this body of Nachiketa or myself is being given to Yama, what purpose will it serve for Yama? He is thinking to himself. See his sincerity. He should not be a bad donation. That is his worry. His father is giving away old cows, useless cows. Therefore he objected. Now father said, I give you only. So Kim's with Yamasya. For Yama, what purpose will I serve? Because I am mediocre fellow in many ways. I am good in only some ways. So I am not the best donation to be given to Yama. And what use will I be to Yama? Because I am not the best in everything. He is thinking within himself. How sincere this fellow is. I should not be a bad donation to Yama. Anupashya yatha purve pratipashya tatha pare sasyamiva martyah pachyate sasyamiva jayate punaha. Now he is talking to his father. That father, think about all those who lived before us. Anupashya yatha purve. Watch, observe, because he is a very observant fellow. His father is not an observant one. So he's telling father, think about all those who have lived before us, our ancestors. Also think about that, those who will live after us also. Think about both. And also think about those who are living with us, our contemporaries, who came after our ancestors are with us. Means think properly, he is telling his father. What should he think? Sasyamiva martyah pachyate sasyamiva jayate punaha. Like corn, which is born out of a field, is eaten and digested, it disappears. Or a field of corn, which is harvested after it is matured. So it is there today, it is not there tomorrow. That is all the truth of life is. Our ancestors were there, they are not there today. Today our contemporaries are there, they will not be there tomorrow. Life is so fragile, it comes and goes. So try to observe how did they behave in the past and how others who are around us are behaving. Are we really living up to the standard of good rishis? Are we keeping up the name and the words and the deeds of our forefathers? Is this behavior on your part appropriate? This is the thought process of Nachiketa, who says, look around. We are born like a corn in a cornfield, and we die. We are eaten up and we finished tomorrow. We don't exist forever. So why do you get attached to these cows and these cattle, and you are doing these cheating and dishonest donations? Don't you do that. It's not right, because our forefathers have not done such kind of work, nor our contemporaries are behaving like this, nor one should behave in the future because of watching us doing like this. Let us not set a bad example. Think of again, he gives a small little lecture to his father. And there ends the first part of the conversation between boy Nachiketa and his father. So he's so sincere. I'm not the best donation, yet my father is making a donation to Yama. I don't know whether I am doing the good thing. And also he tells his father, fine father, you want me to go to Yama, I shall go. But please think once what you are doing, how our forefathers behaved, how others are behaving around us. And are we setting a bad example for the future to come? Let us not behave this way. Anyway, I'll go to Yama as per your orders, but nevertheless, I want you to think about it. See, so sincere this fellow is. And now what happens next? Vaishwanarah pravishati atithi brahmano grihan. So, Vaishwanarah pravishati atithi brahmano grihan tasyaitam shanti kurvanti hara vaivasvatodakam. Idea is that when Atithi comes to our house, who is also a Brahmana and Vidwan, means he is knower of truth, he comes to our home, Gruhan, he is like fire coming to our home. Why it's said? Because fire is very useful. In old times, fire was very important to do every ritual, especially in the house of a householder. Agnihotras should go on. So fire under limit is very useful. You can cook food, you can perform yajnas and things like that. But fire, if it gets wild, it can burn the whole house down, because all were made of leaves and bamboo and things like that. So fire is very dangerous. If it goes out of control, it becomes wild. But it's very good when it comes and it is in a peaceful and a controlled state. So the arrival of Atithi, who is a Brahmin, is like that. If he is pleased with us, he'll give us lot of boons, because he has lot of knowledge and he'll teach us good things. But suppose he is not treated well and gets upset, he may even curse us. Or even if he does not curse us, the very fact that we have not treated a Brahman Atithi well will bring upon us lot of calamities. So from that point of view, this shloka is being said, is the narrator who is kind of saying this, or the person who is in Yama's house, his wives or his assistants are telling to Yama that if a Brahmin Atithi comes to your house, he comes like a big fire. Tasyetam shanti kurvanti. Therefore, first you have to go and make him peaceful. Like fire has to be quenched by pouring water on it. So take hara vaivasvat odakam. Vaivasvata is Yama. Udakam means water. Take water and go. For this little Brahmin boy, he has been waiting for 3 days, because he is a Brahmin Atithi. We should treat him well. For not doing which can be very dangerous. So little Upanishad takes another shloka extra to explain how we should treat our Brahmin guests. Brahmin not from the point of view of caste now, but from the point of view of those who are intelligent, those who are knowledgeable, wise people. We must behave well with them. We must take good care of them. Asha pratikshe sangatam sunrutam cheshta purte putra pashunscha sarvan etad vrinte purushashyalpamedaso yasyan shvanas vasati brahmano grahe. Asha pratikshe means whatever we desire for, whatever we wait for in our life to get. Sangatam sunrutam, by the company of these people, the Brahmin guests who arrives in a house of such a person who has lot of desires and ambitions. Everybody wants something good to happen. Cheshta purte, whatever we want to. Ishta apurta, two things that people used to desire for. Ishta is the yajnas that we do, and purta are all the social work that we do, like digging wells and building shelter homes and things like on roadside. These were all duties of a householder in those times. What all duties? Ishta, that is to perform the yajna yagas and derive fruits out of them, and Purta, which is to build things of public service. So all these, and Putra Pashuscha Sarvan, these are all things that one desires for. Putra, sons, because they can continue the lineage and continue to perform the yajnas, and Pashuscha, all the cattle that we need as prosperity. All these are generally expected and people are attached to. But what happened? Etad vrinte, these are discarded away, these are thrown away, or these are being removed. From whom? Purusha alpama medaso. That Purusha, that person who has of little intelligence, he loses all these things. Why? Because in his house, some Brahmin who lives in their house without eating, Brahmin is hungry, in such a person's house, all these good things that he desires for, Ishta Purte, Putra Pashush Sarvan, all the good things are taken away. Vringte. Why? Because of his poor intelligence, he did not look after the Brahmin guest very well. The Brahmin had to stay hungry in his house, and therefore he is not going to attain all these good things that he desires for. So this is a shloka has been said more from the point of view to also send out a general message to the readers of Kathopanishad that this is the way one should treat a Brahmin or a guest. So now Tisro Ratri, the idea is that 3 nights. I told you that he was waiting for how many nights? 3 nights. So Yadavatsi Grihe Me Anashnan Brahman Atithir Namasya. What is saying? You have stayed in my house 3 nights without eating, and therefore you are a Brahman Atithi. I bow down to you. Namasya. I bow down to you. Again he bows down, says, Namaste astu Brahman, swasti me astu, tasmat prati, Trin varan virnishwa. You have stayed in my home 3 nights without eating. I bow down to you. Please don't be angry with me. Please bless me. Swasti me astu. Let good happen to us. And what else he says? Therefore, as a compensation for the trouble that you have undertaken of waiting for me for 3 nights, ask me for 3 boons. That is the idea. And then the boons start. And how this little boy, the most important part of the today's part is you have to observe is that he's such a sincere fellow. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. The one who has Shraddha alone is entitled for knowledge. Ashraddhavan, no. And what is Shraddha as per Shankaracharya? He says, Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Sattva Buddhi Avadharanam. In Shastras, the scriptures, and in the Guru Vakya, whatever the Guru tells, whoever has Sattva Buddhi, pure mindedness, who believes in that, such a person is called Shraddhavan. Shastrasya. Today, so many people don't believe these scriptures. They think it's some cock and bull story written in some time. Nobody knows who wrote, when it was written, how it was written. Well, how is it relevant today? We ask questions like this. So such people don't have Shraddha. They cannot attain this wisdom. And then Guru Vakya. If Guru says something, then you must be willing to listen and believe and follow. These two are the definitions of Shraddha. So we have heard that this boy was what? Shraddha Avivesha So Manyata. He became overcome by Shraddha. When he saw his father giving donations like this, he was overcome by Shraddha, and then who went and spoke to his father. Let us not do something wrong. How many of us see things going wrong, people doing wrong things, but how many of us go over and correct that, or take the courage to correct that, not wanting to get into bad books, not wanting to create enmity, not wanting to be commented upon or being ostracized. We continue to live with the same wrong people without questioning anything. That is the plight of the society here today. When Swamiji from Ramakrishna order had come, he is the Vice Chancellor of the Ramakrishna Vivekananda University based out of Belur Math. He had come here. He's an IIT. Who studied in IIT. He has many PhDs to his credit. And he was telling that the problem of the world is not that the good people are not there. But the problem is that good people are not as courageous as the bad people. The bad people have all the courage to do bad. The good people don't have the courage to do good. And that is where the problem of the society is. Little poor Nachiketa sees his father doing wrong. Shraddha Avivesha, he is overcome by this Shraddha. That Shastra Vakya is not following the correct way of the rituals that is being told by our Shastras. Or Guru Vakya also. Maybe he has also learned from his father. Fathers were the gurus in those days. But he is also not following. He is coming from a great lineage. Uddalaka, Aruni, Vajashrava, that is his lineage. Yet he is not behaving according to it. Even though he is my father, even I know he may get upset with me, yet I must speak up. I must set things right. That is my duty, that is my dharma. And that dharma is given to me because of my shraddha in scriptures and gurus. How important it is for a student, you think from student's point of view. There are rules, regulations, there are behavior, conduct, moral codes of conduct, moral, social. These are shastras. People have told us how to do, how not to do things, how to behave, how not to behave, whether it's your home, hostel, or society at large. But when we see things going wrong, first of all, we should not do wrong. And when we see things going wrong, people doing wrong, if we just sit quiet, we are equally a part of that wrongdoing. And that is where the problem in the society at large is today. We don't have Nachiketas who get up and question things, who are willing to take whatever comes out of it, good or bad, because they have done their duty out of Shraddha. We don't have Nachiketas today. That's the reason why society is going where it is going. Something goes wrong, you look the other way. None of my problem. It's not, as long as it is not happening to me, let me not bother. So rest assured, when it happens to you finally, others won't bother too. India came under continuous attacks and invasions. Why? Not because we didn't have enough strength, but we were all divided. When some enemy attacked another kingdom, we said it has not come to our kingdom. When fire comes to our house, then we will get up and do something about it. This idea is not Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam idea. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is when we feel for each other and care for each other. And if something is being done wrong to somebody, or if somebody is doing wrong to someone, we get up and try to stop it, try to resist it with whatever might we have. We may succeed, we may not succeed. That's a different story. But doing is in our hands. So we should have the spine to stand up and do something about it. When so many things are going wrong, I'm not saying you get up and give a lecture to them. Nachiketa could give a lecture to his father because he was right at home. But there are several other ways of setting things right. When children don't get education, they don't get health facilities, orphans are left to themselves, society's moral and social values are continuously declining. An educational institution, a Gurukulam like this, is an answer to those questions. Why is this Gurukulam being set up? Shraddha Avivesha. Out of Shraddha only it is being set up. To set things right in the society. We may not be able to go right and lecture everybody or catch a thief and put in the jail. That is the job of the law and order people. But as other citizens of the society, do we have a role to play? Or should we just look the other way and close our eyes and think everything is fine? That is where we go wrong. But Nachiketa is not like that. He's ready to call spade a spade, axe an axe, whatever. And he goes up to his father and asks, why are you doing this? Please think twice. Is this the right behavior? At least that much he's doing. Because father owned this fellow, he kicked him out, saying, go to hell. Nevertheless, he went to hell. And that also he turned the adversity into an opportunity. That is Nachiketa. When he was thrown away, he had turned the adversity also into opportunity. So that is also a great lesson from Nachiketa, how to convert all our adversities in life into opportunities to learn, grow and improve.
Sahana vavatu Sahana bhunaktu Sahaviyam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.